Listen, I hope y'all WNBA players is paying attention. They will replace y'all asses. They have Caitlin Clark. They have Paige Beckers under contract. They have Angel Reese. They have replacement players they can go get. They have a slew of rookies they are about to draft.
Thus, one of the most audacious decisions in the history of sports media was recently taken by NBC. I'm not exaggerating, either. After glancing at the WNBA season players and alleged leaders, the network responded, "Thank you, but no thanks." They did not include Caitlin Clark in the package. Like a bad Tinder date, the soldiers were abandoned by Reed as the package, the entire thing. There is no rumor here. This isn't conjecture. The WNBA and NBC inked a huge media rights agreement with Peacock. Additionally, they focused all of their attention on Caitlin Clark rather than the seasoned players who had been in the league for years.
See, sports, what they did is they flexed on them. Okay? They flexed on them. Here it says, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. The WNBA is coming to NBC and Peacock.
She was brought on as a special contributor for their coverage of the NBA. The NBA, not the WNBA. While the veterans are sitting at home wondering what went wrong, she is mingling with Vince Carter and Carmelo Anthony while sitting courtside at Madison Square Garden. This is when it becomes spicy, though. NBC didn't decide to do this because they felt like it one day when they woke up. The veterans rendered themselves unmarketable, therefore they took this action. The shady tactics, the cheap insults, and the podcast interviews that attempted to minimize all of Caitlin's accomplishments. NBC watched it all. The entire thing was witnessed by corporate America. They also made the decision that they didn't want any of that energy.
WNBA, NBC, Peacock, they're pushing on and moving on with their promo, regardless of y'all signing this deal or not, because I'm pretty sure they got a contingency plan in place. They have a contingency.
The network desires happiness and brightness. Instead of someone who drives viewers away, they want someone who attracts them. Furthermore, the data is truthful. The needle is moved by Caitlin Clark. Veterans don't, though. It's that easy. After analyzing the data, NBC came to a business conclusion. Fair yet cold. The veterans believed they were invincible. They believed that they were the center of the league. They have been attempting to ruin Caitlin Clark's life for the past 2 years. They hurled elbows. They exchanged derogatory remarks. They made every effort to physically and psychologically destroy her. Additionally, they made sure she wasn't on the Olympic squad when it was announced. The ultimate power move was meant to be that. The veterans showing off their power. However, what transpired next completely changed the course of events. Caitlin didn't voice any complaints. She didn't cry about it on podcasts. She simply continued to play. She continued to sign autographs. Her smile persisted as she continued to appear. And as a result, her admirers liked her even more. The veterans, however, appeared petulant. They appeared envious. They appeared to be bullies who had chosen the wrong victim. NBC took note of this. Peacock saw this. This was observed by the owners. And they began by posing a straightforward query to themselves. Who is it that we need here? The solution was clear. They needed the Iowa girl who breaks attendance records and packs arenas. Veterans who spend more time hating than hooping were unnecessary. The change in power thereafter took place. The owners understand that they can generate revenue without the WNBA as a whole. All they require is Caitlin Clark. She is the end result. The brand is her. People are purchasing Peacock memberships because of her. Thus, they devised a strategy centered around her.
Absolute abomination. Nike dropping the ball. Here it says Nike confirmed to Adweek it will not run a commercial during Super Bowl 60 this year, so there won't be a Nike x Caitlin Clark spot during the game.
Regardless of the WNBA season, they provided her with the NBC platform. It's okay if the veterans choose to strike. Every Sunday night, Caitlin will continue to be broadcast on television. In each case, she prevails. The Golden Goose and the veterans engaged in a game of chicken. They are starving right now. The owners and the WNBA Players Association are embroiled in a labor dispute. A 30% revenue share is what the players desire. They desire higher pay. Better vacation accommodations are what they desire. And who is spearheading this effort? The veterans. These are the same veterans who don't accept the Caitlin Clark effect. The same veterans believed that by dismantling her, they would somehow become stronger. The issue with the approach is as follows. The proprietors are not afraid. They're giggling. They are aware of the reality that no one wants to publicly acknowledge. There wouldn't be any revenue to split without Caitlin Clark. To see the players that body-checked her into the scorer's table, no one is purchasing a Peacock subscription. No one is paying attention to the veterans who made fun of her on social media. Caitlyn is what the fans want. For a period. Thus, the proprietors bluffed. "You want to strike?" they said. "Then hit. We'll be all right." Because Caitlyn Clark will be inside Madison Square Garden evaluating LeBron James for NBC while you are picketing outside the arena. The WNBA season is not necessary for her to remain relevant. At this moment, she goes beyond the league. She is larger than the group as a whole. And this is where the veterans made a critical calculation error. They believed they had leverage because of their experience. They believed they had authority because of their victories. However, leverage is only effective when the other party needs you. They are not required by the owners. They are not necessary for NBC. Peacocks don't require them. They simply require a single individual. The rookie who maintained their composure during their outbursts. The veterans are finally seeing that their risks are insignificant. The owners have a backup plan, which they call Caitlyn Clark. Feelings are unimportant to streaming providers. Legacy doesn't matter to them. The number of years you have played in the league is irrelevant to them. Subscriptions are the only thing that matters to them. Who is encouraging individuals to register? Who is preventing cancellations? In the streaming wars, that is the only metric that counts. And can you guess who is overwhelmingly winning that battle? Clark, Caitlyn. Last season's attendance records were broken by her games. Her jersey sold more than all the other jerseys in the league combined. She is really active on social media. Veterans are tweeting resentful tweets in the interim, but they are quickly forgotten. There is no greater glaring contrast. One side is exciting and joyful. Negativity and drama come from the opposing side. Joy was Peacock's choice. Well done. The entire story is told in the promotional materials for the new NBC arrangement. Caitlyn-centric is what it is. Her face takes center stage. In their own league, the veterans are now merely background extras. At this point, they are essentially anonymous silhouettes. They were the stars 2 years ago. They are now furniture. Things change that quickly. But hold on, things get worse for them. Balance is not even a concern for NBC. Caitlyn was flown to New York. Legends was seated close to her. They provided her with a platform that the majority of WNBA players could only imagine. In the midst of all of this, what are the veterans doing? In real time, their argument concerning revenue distributions becomes irrelevant. Caitlyn eats at the main table while they quarrel over crumbs. The irony is nearly flawless. They attempted to chill her. They are now the ones who are left out in the cold. Consider the harm this is doing to the old guard's mental health. Consider yourself a veteran of 10 years. Imagine you resume listing several championships. While you are updating your bank app in the hopes that your direct deposit will be processed, picture yourself devoted your entire life to this league and then witnessing a rookie get flown to Madison Square Garden to sit next to Carmelo Anthony. That must hurt in ways that are beyond our comprehension. Here's the problem, though. They subjected themselves to this. All of it. They would be seated with Caitlyn now if they had greeted her with open arms. The endorsement deals would go to them. They would appear in the portions on NBC. Rather than going hungry outside the restaurant, they would be eating from her plate. However, their egos would not permit it. They were blinded by jealousy. They opted for pettiness over wealth. They are now bearing the cost. They had the winning lottery ticket, which is the most absurd aspect. They only needed to cash it in. "Welcome to the league, Caitlyn," was all they needed to say with a smile. That's it. That would have been all that was required. Rather, they tore up the ticket and hurled it at her. They believed they were conveying a message. They believed they were correcting her, but all they accomplished was make themselves more irrelevant. NBC has progressed. Peacock is no longer there. The owners are no longer there. The supporters have moved on. Veterans themselves are the only ones trapped in the past. While the rest of the world watches Caitlyn Clark become the face of basketball, they are yelling into thin air. They made an attempt to cancel her. All they did was cancel themselves.